Hello everyone. We are going to start a new chapter today, that is chapter number 8, natural resources. 800 we have already discussed resources, natural, man-made and human resource. But here we are going to focus on natural resources. First of all, let's understand the meaning of natural resources. A resource is anything that is used to satisfy human need. So whatever we use, whatever material, whatever skill, whatever natural things we use are called resources. And if we get that material from nature, it is called natural resources. Now typically resources are materials, energy, services, staff, knowledge, any other assets, and we transform them or we use them for our benefit. It is called natural resources. Now all these benefits of resources utilization may include increased wealth. We increase wealth by using them, meeting our needs or wants, like we get food, proper functioning of a system, or enhanced well-being. So these resources are used for all these purposes. From human perspective or from our perspective, in a very simple language, natural resource is anything obtained from the environment to satisfy human needs or want. Now we use resources in different ways. We have classified them, we have divided them into different sections. First is resource as food. All our food come from natural resource. You can see it in this picture. you know Most of them, I think all of them, come from nature. Resources as raw material. Now we have different industries. We get raw material from nature, like from water and ocean. We get drinking water from rivers, and we get energy, we get fuel. From forests we get wood, food, medicine, pulp. We get recreation also, that is also a resource. uh, it is also home for wildlife. We get rubber, cotton from forest and from agriculture. Now rocks, we get construction material. From minerals we get so many minerals. Normally, generally we use around 200 minerals in our day to day life: jewelry, glass, cans, ceramics, etc. From soil we get agricultural products. And we have animals, they are also natural resources. We get food, wool, milk, and recreation from them. So these are the natural resources used as raw material for other industries. Resources as energy. Now we get, first of all, we started with uh, you know wood, we can call coal, then natural gas, oil, biomass, then solar, wind, water, and nuclear energy. All these things we get from nature. So these are all different sections we have divided natural resources into. There are many other classifications also. Now, classification of resources on the basis of ownership, on the basis of re-availability or availability, and on the basis of distribution. Let's take them one by one. On the basis of ownership, we have resources, individual resources, Now, in this individual resources owned privately by individuals, that means if you have your house, your car, your land, your shops, okay, all these things are your individual resources. Then comes community owned resources. Now, society, need, states, different communities, and their resources like common hall, municipal corporation grounds, public parks, picnic spots. All these things fall into you know, community owned resources. In that, natural resources also can be counted, like your roads and other things. Then comes international resources. Okay, in international resources, you know we have to, if you know that oceanic resources beyond 200 kilometers of any nation's boundary is international resource. Anyone can get access to that area and use the natural resources available over there. So we divide on the ownership, individual, community, national, or state. We can divide that also. Okay. Then international resources on the basis of ownership. Then comes classification on the basis of distribution. I divide generally this into two only: ubiquitous resources and localized resources. Now, ubiquitous resources, the resources that can be found everywhere, anywhere you go and you find them: air, light, sunlight, water. All these resources are found everywhere and free, actually. They are called ubiquitous. And then there is localized resources. Localized are those that can be found only in certain parts of the world. For example, copper, iron ore, thermal power, and other things. Now, in our textbook, they are divided further into universal resources, generally available resources, rare resources, and solitary resources. Universal resources like useful gases in the atmosphere, like oxygen and nitrogen, they are found everywhere. They are called universal resources. Generally available resources, they are easily available anywhere, like land, soil, water, pasture land. Rare resources, those available only at limited places, not everywhere in huge quantity you find them, like coal, petroleum, copper, gold, uranium. And now solitary resources, they are found only at one or two places. One example is cryolite, which is available only in Greenland. So they have divided further into four parts. So these are the classification of resources. Now there are some other classification also: renewable and non-renewable. You may know this. Non-renewable resources such as fossil fuel that exist in finite amounts or that replaces itself very slowly, and once you use them up, it's gone. So they are renewable, non-renewable resources. Now renewable resources are like wild animals, they regenerate, forest, agriculture, soil. We can regenerate them, you know, we can reuse them again and again. Now, there is also a third type: flow resources. Some of the textbooks in CBSC, it is given like that: flow resources like the water flowing in the river, wind, and sunlight. They are there, but only when we use them. Okay. So there are three, further classification: renewable, non-renewable, and flow resources. One more classification I would like you to know, like biotic and abiotic resources. Now, biotic resources are life, even plants and forest and trees are included. Abiotic, lifeless. They are not. They don't have life in them. So there is also biotic and abiotic resources. I think it is not given in the textbook, but these are the general classification of resources. Now, last economic chapter, I had told you that our wants are unlimited while resources are limited. So, what you have to do is you have to plan and conserve resources. Now, there is a huge, big paragraph given in your textbook, but I have divided this paragraph into small points. Now, what is resource planning? First of all, resource planning is a technique or skill of proper utilization of resources. Now, there are different stages given. First of all, you have to identify and list the resources. That includes surveying, mapping, measurement of the qualities and quantities of the resource, and then you decide proper exploitation of that resources. Develop a planning structure with suitable technology, skill, and institutional setup. So, first of all, identification, then planning, and then all these things must match the plan of your nation, national plan of development. So, there are three important stages. If you go through the planning and conservation paragraph in your textbook, you will come to know that all this, uh, you know, can be divided into these three parts. So, here we come to uh, the end of the first part of your chapter, natural resources. Second part will include soil and soil formation and types of soil. And I have divided this chapter into three parts. So third part will be, uh, you know, the last part, that is soil erosion, soil conservation, and remedies of soil conservation. So I could not finish this in one video. So there will be three videos coming up. I hope you understood whatever I have taught you till now. Read the chapter and watch the video again. Thank you very much, and wait for the other videos.